Over the years I've been into Pokemon, I've noticed a rise in what I like to call bootlegs. Now, what are these bootlegs, you may ask? Basically, these are Pokemon games that are designed to look like the real ones, but when you play them, they'll have issues because they're fake. They're designed to rip you off on sites like Amazon, where you think you're actually getting a Pokemon game, but instead, you're getting a fake one. At first, I didn't realize how bad they were. Sure, I saw a ton of threads on Bulba Garden, but lately, I've been noticing them more and more when I walk into used game stores. I went into a used game store recently, and they had a bootleg copy of Pokemon Sapphire. And I had a friend actually come up to me and told me his game wasn't saving, so I also had somebody on a website I was selling a Pokemon game asked me to send me pictures of it just to prove it wasn't a bootleg. But basically, these happen because people sometimes, because Pokemon fans are too lazy to sell their games, the prices have gone way up, and so you're paying 30 to 40 bucks just for a game that seems like when you get it in, it turns out it's fake, it's a bootleg, it has issues saving, blah blah blah. So why am I making this video basically? Well, partially to warn others, but also because this friend let me borrow his game because he thought it was one of those where, the old Pokemon games won't save anymore, blah blah blah. He thought it was one of those. Turns out, his game was a bootleg. Now, basically, I took these scans of the cartridges just to show you what a bootleg game looks like. On the right, you can see the game that's a bootleg. The label doesn't really reflect, it just looks like a cheap label printed out with an inkjet printer that they just slapped on. And this reflects because most of the bootlegs are so low quality that they try to hack the games. As you'll see later when I show you footage, they try to hack the games to work with whatever cheapo hardware they're using, because instead of trying to copy the real hardware, they're only making these bootlegs to make as much profit as possible. And so basically, thanks to the fact that Pokemon games go for 30 to 40 bucks used, there's a ton of money to be made on these bootlegs. But first off, let me just tell you 3 ways to tell one. First way is to look on the bottom of a cartridge. If you tilt your Pokemon game to the bottom, you'll see a Nintendo logo, AGB something something on the circuit board depending on the revision, and of course, inside you should only see a battery on Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, not Fire Red and Leaf Green. The second way to tell if it's a fake, if the game has issues fitting in your Game Boy. If you have to force the game into your Game Boy, there's a good chance it's a fake game. The third way, of course, open up the cartridge. The one on the left is the bootleg game, as in you can see the bootleg game looks cheap. As you can see, the circuit board looks really nasty, like it was a cheap-ass circuit board, while the other one looks professionally done, the official one, that is. And as you can see, it also has a battery used for saving, while on the other one, it uses flash memory. And of course, if you see those black blobs, like on the bootleg one on the left, you'll know that you're playing with a bootlegged game. And let's face it, it also looks like it uses flash memory for the ROM, while the other one uses masked ROM. You can't see it because the battery's covering it up. But I know this is too technical, so I'm just going to get down to the bottom line. The easiest way, and the fourth way, is to actually play the game. On bootleg games, you'll get a message about, before loading, about how the save file will be loaded. You'll have issues doing stuff. If you trade, your save file will get deleted, and all sorts of stuff. But I decided to have some fun with it. I took some gameplay footage of the bootleg game. What you're about to see is 100% unedited gameplay footage of both the bootleg game and the legitimate one with the save Jacob on it. And as you can see, the bootleg one saves instantly because of the RAM, and also gives you the message about how it's saving. Oh, and did I mention that if you use a bootleg game and you try to trade, your save will get deleted? Same with Pal Park. That's the other way to know if you have a fake game. Just use PalPark. But let's just get on with the gameplay footage because I've talked too long and there's literally 4 million other YouTube videos on this topic.